Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, and welcome one and all to my Mechanist's Lair. This one has been a long time coming. This is the last settlement that I have left to do, and I wanted to wait until Contraption's workshop was done so that I had some time to build a really cool contraption. So as you can see, every square inch of this settlement is filled with conveyors, belts, moving parts, hoppers, and I absolutely love it. So the reason that I turned my Mechanist Lair into one big warehouse is because in my playthrough, I sided with the Minutemen, and I take that seriously. So I wanted to have some sort of place for all of my provisioners to go. So this settlement is the home of all of my robot provisioners. My robot provisioners come in and out of this settlement all the time. And I figure this is where they drop off their wares, pick up stuff, share stuff. And so this is going to be a big sorting place. This is where robots need to go to get their supplies. So let's start at the very beginning here. Over here is, of course, the workshop. And I have a vacuum hopper sucking all of the scrap and components out of the workshop and then sending it along this conveyor belt. It then goes through this elevator, up and to the left, then up and straight, and then down this ramp. So I put together this downward conveyor belt, and as you can see, it's putting the components down in a nice orderly fashion. But I found that the items tended to fall off during transit, and so I actually had to use my precise movement and rotation software to push some scaffolding ramps up to kind of have these banisters on the sides to prevent things from falling down. Anyway, so then it comes around here, around this corner, past my fusion generator. This is what I used to power the entire facility. And man, getting this place lit was one of the biggest challenges. There's absolutely no natural lighting in this element, so every bit of light has to come from something you created. And I probably spent the majority of my time flying around with a jetpack, trying to place conduits in just the right spots so that I could wire up this place to get enough lighting so that it actually looked decent. Anyway, so the scrap comes around the corner and then goes to this sorter. Now this sorter separates all of the scrap from food, and let me show you how it works. Let me grab one purified water here. So if the sorter detects food or water, it sends it down this path. So the scrap goes straight, but the food and the water comes out here and then around the corner. The scrap then goes up this elevator and down this conveyor belt, and the food and water goes around this corner and then into this sorter. So I actually have a mod installed, which I did a review of, that adds this unique hopper to the game called the conveyor workshop storage. And what this does is it sends everything that it gets back to the workshop. So that way I can create an infinite loop of scrap and materials throughout this entire facility just to make it look lived in. But whenever the workshop sucks out some food, the food gets diverted down this path, which then sends it through to this conveyor storage, which then gets sucked up by this vacuum hopper and sent up on a new path. So up this elevator, and then to this conveyor belt right here, which then sends the food down into this hopper. Now this hopper spits it all out down here, and it then gets sent this way to this sorter. This sorter separates carrots from water. You can see the water gets sent off this direction, and the carrots will get sent off that direction. Now, you may be asking yourself, why carrots? Well, if you have watched any of my settlement builds in the past, you know that I like building carrots for my crops because they're short. Short crops make it easy to talk with and interact with settlers. Long crops like mute fruit, actually, they're so bushy that if you try to talk to your settler, you end up looting the tree, and it's just hard to interact with them. So I have carrots at all of my settlements, and I thought I would go ahead and play with the idea. So I piled up carrots into this corner, just tons of boxes of carrots. I figured every settlement is producing all of these carrots. There's going to be a surplus of carrots. So here they are. They're sitting here waiting to be sorted and sent on their way to a settlement, and then I did the same with Brahmin milk over here, because all of the different settlements have lots of Brahmin, and I'm sure they're producing a lot of Brahmin milk. So over here I have big barrels of Brahmin milk that are waiting to be sent off to settlements that need it. Additionally, I have some other decorations in these corners, and I overviewed this mod in a special mod video that I did recently, but this is a workshop storage mod that allows you to decorate your workshop with all sorts of pallets of goodies. So here's some cork, cement, this looks like cloth, we've got fertilizer, fiber optics, ballistic weave, adhesive, copper, silver, rubber, acid, leather, just all sorts of components. And I imagine that all of the scrap that I'm constantly putting into my workshops when I go throughout the world is then being sent to this facility where it is sorted, packaged, and then sent off to other settlements that need it. I then decorated the place up with these big crates filled with all sorts of stuff. So I believe this is cork, and then I've got some glass. And then over here in this corner, I've got just more stuff. Cork, glass, and more glass. And wood over here. Then I used this corner over here for food and water storage. So the mod author was actually really kind, and I left a comment and said, you know what, this mod is excellent. I'd love it if you had some food and water storage and maybe some Brahmin milk. And he said, okay. And so just for me, he added some Brahmin milk crates here, as well as some purified water crates, and of course carrot crates. I said, look, I have carrots in my settlements, could you make me a carrot crate? And he sure did. Now he also has mute fruit and other vegetables as well. But so over here I've got stacked and ordered crops and milk and water for the settlers to consume. Anyway, so the carrots get diverted from this sorter and they go around this corner to this elevator. The elevator takes them up and around across this conveyor belt, up here, through that elevator, up to this conveyor belt, which sends them around here, down here, around here, and then back into this hopper, where the entire process rinses and repeats over and over again. The carrots come back here, they get mixed with the purified water, then they get sorted there, and I just had a lot of fun with it. Now let me show you one thing I did. I put together this counter and I attached it to a laser tripwire. And as you can see, it counts every single carrot that comes through. Right now I'm at 9,990 carrots counted, and this particular counter has the capacity to count up to 999,999. Now it's actually, the way that Bethesda set this up is really clever. These counter switches are already set to units of 10, so all you have to do is stack them side by side, and they do snap, and then wire it from right to left. So you need to wire this one on the far right, and then wire each of these together in a line, and then that'll produce a counter. So once this hits 0, that flips 1, and then once that hits 0, that flips 1, and in such a way you could conceivably create an unlimited counter. I decided to stop mine on 1 short of a million, but you could make your counter any way you want. And then I did the same over here with purified water, only I have my counter set to this tripwire right there. And then the counter is over here. So this one is all the way up to 2,412. And it counts the purified water that comes in here. And, oh, I didn't show you that pathway. So after the carrots go that way, so the purified water gets sent this way. So I've got a carrot in the sorter, which diverts carrots off that way. The purified water comes out this way, up this elevator, across that conveyor, up this elevator. Oh, man. And then, so here we go, at the very top here, it goes all the way up, climbs this huge elevator ladder, and then it gets sent on this conveyor belt, which sends it all the way down here, around the facility, around the corner, and then through here, where it's counted, before going up this elevator, and dumped into this hopper, which of course, this hopper is connected to this elevated conveyor belt right here, and then this is connected to this hopper, which dumps it back into the carrot pathway again, thereby mixing them again and then causing them to be sorted. So in this way, I put together an endless machine. There you go. See, the purified water is coming out of the hopper. I put together an endless machine that sorts things, combines things, recombobulates things, just so that this settlement has the appearance of having some sort of activity. I just love the way that this is put together. Then over here, I have an actual elevator. So I'm really pleased with the elevators that came with Fallout 4. They do take some finagling, the ones that came with Contraptions Workshop, but this 3-story elevator, for example, is perfect for the Mechanist's Lair. So let's hit floor number 3, and this brings us all the way to floor 3, and it's a perfect fit. I can just walk right in here. So this wing I actually have set up for humans. So you come on up here and you have a human habitation. And the way that I imagine it is, even though this settlement is 100% robots, let me pull up, open my workshop and you can see. Yeah, you can see my happiness is set to 50, and that's actually a happiness cap with robots. Robots are capped at 50 happiness, which means that they can never rise above 50 happiness no matter what you do to the settlement. But because settler happiness is averaged to come up with the happiness of a settlement, if you have robots as citizens of settlements, they'll actually drag down the overall happiness of a settlement. So to get around this, I sent all my robots to the Mechanist's Lair. So this settlement has 33 people, and all of those people are robots, and that is why the happiness is set at 50. But I do have one bed, and the reason for that is because I do have one female human provisioner that comes between the Mechanist's Lair and I think Bunker Hill, and so I figured she's going to need a place to rest and recuperate after a long journey. Plus, the sole survivor comes here every now and then. So over here, I've got a Nuka clock on the wall. I've got a nice bed, and then just a dresser. I imagine the provisioners can leave notes for each other's, and then I've got a little office station over here for maybe keeping inventory of stuff that they're sending to all the settlements. And I love this corner. When I saw it, I immediately thought of maybe some sort of office space or bedroom, because you can see an entire view of the whole facility, the entire factory. You can observe the entire factory from this corner through these grates, and I just really enjoyed it. So I decided to keep this for humans. And then over in this corner, I decorated this door with some curtains from a new curtain mod that I recently reviewed in a video, and my sole survivor is female, so of course she picked some feminine looking curtains. And then I've got a simple food cooking station over here with one shelf filled with boxed food and some vegetables, and then a cooking stove. Fairly simple over there, but yeah, this corner is just for humans. And then down here I've got the bathing facility, so I'm sure that the settlers are going to need, the provisioners are going to need to take a shower. So I have some curtains up here for privacy, and then if you go in here you see an actual functional working shower with soap on the wall, and then a big stack of towels with toothpaste and a toothbrush. And then there's this cage. I really liked this cage. This came with the settlement. I didn't want to scrap it. And I originally experimented with putting a pillory in here that came with Contraptions Workshop, and then assigning Jezebel the robot to the pillory. But she just would not go in the cage. She just wouldn't do it. So I decided to turn it into a bathroom instead. So I've got a toilet in here with some decorations, and then toilet paper on the wall. And yes, I know that the toilet paper is the wrong way around. Every single time I show off a bathroom in any of my videos, I get 15 comments from people saying, you know, the toilet paper is the wrong way around. I'm like, yes, I do realize I can't do anything about it. That's just the way the mod is. I have mod installed, and I'd rather have toilet paper the wrong way around than no toilet paper at all. So anyway, can't ask for perfection from mod authors. And then over here I have some more of these really nice curtains to close up these doors. So these doors, of course, go into the rest of the Robco production facility, which is just a robot graveyard right now since I've completed the dungeon. And you can't build in here, so I figured I'd have some drapes here that the robots and the people can close to shut down any chills or drafts that are running through the facility, or so that they just don't get spooked at night or something like that. All right, so there you go. That's the human side of things. Let's show off the rest of this facility. So, I had a lot of fun with this guy. This is This is, so here's Jezebel. She's walking around doing her thing. I couldn't find a way to punish her. And then I built one other robot, which is this guy, and none other than our very own Bender Bending Rodriguez.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
I just want to trade a few things.
No thanks.
Actually, I'll be back later.
Would you kindly shut your noise hole?
All systems go?
Bender is great. Oh, Bender is great.
All systems go?
Want to kill all humans?
All systems go?
Don't make me kick your neck.
All systems go?
When will man learn that all races are equally inferior to robots?
Actually, I'll be back later.
You got it, genius.
I figured, you know what, I can't have a robot settlement filled with robots without my very own Bender. So I did my best to make him look like Bender. And then the reason I mention him now is because if you come up here, so here's the path the provisioners take, and they do get stuck. And there's really nothing I can do about it. I don't understand. So one thing I did is I installed a mod, which I linked to in the description of this video, that transforms all pack Brahmin into iBots. And I know that that doesn't make a lot of sense, but the reason I did it is because the Brahmin take up so much space, and in this facility, they actually get stuck with the doors. And I installed the mod in the vain hope that by changing them to iBots, that the pathing issues that are present in this settlement would be fixed. But as you can see, my robot provisioners are stuck. You know, they just start walking up here, and then they stop. I don't know why they stop. And then the next one starts walking up there, and then he stops. And then the one behind him stops, until you get this long line of provisioners going down this track. So I don't know what the answer is. If you fast travel away and fast travel back, it fixes itself. But I just have to deal with it. Anyway, I mentioned Bender because up here, this is where the robots go. They go out here, and then they go out here to go on their way to different settlements. And I have parting gifts for them here. That's right. I've got a nice stack of cigars here in case they want to take some cigars with them, and then a bunch of beer, because anyone who watches Futurama knows booze charges robot fuel cells, right? So I've got a nice ice cold one on the side here for any robot provisioners that need to take one on the go. And then of course cigars just make robots look cool, so I've got some cigars over there. And then over here as well, I've got some beer set out and some cigars so that the robots can go on their merry way. Now, over here, I imagine this is going to be my robot repair station. So I've got a big stack of circuitry over here and extra powerful robot magnets. I've got all sorts of components. Here's some acid and adhesive, gears, just all sorts of screws, oil springs, and then ammunition on the walls for giving them weaponry. And then I've got a robot repair station over here, and this was actually the only place I could put it, aside from the main facility. Obviously, there's room out there, but in one of these smaller wings, the only room was right here, and that's because this has a crumbled ceiling, and the robot workbench is really tall. You can see that it has this sticky out bed at the top, so I had to kind of push that in the corner, but it fit. It fit right there, and then I've got these filled shelves with ammunition, scrap, paint, of course, because you got to paint up your robots, and then just some fuel over here. Now, I did add defense to this settlement as a precaution, even though I've never been attacked. So, up here I got a heavy laser turret, a spotlight, and then a missile turret, and then over here I have the same thing, and they're elevated and they're pointed towards these exits, so if I do get attacked, I'm sure I'll be okay. Oh, and now the provisioners decide to walk? Okay. Well, I don't know what changed, but they're finally using the walkway. Now, just imagine if these were huge pack Brahmin. You can quickly see why I installed the mod. They just take up so much space. Anyway, so I've got some defense over here, but I've never been attacked at this settlement. Is that just me? Have any of you been attacked? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm really curious. But I've never been attacked, and the reason I think I've never been attacked is due to the position of the spawn points. So let's load up our settlement management software, and I'll show you where the spawn points are for this settlement. Okay, I've got the spawn points marked, and look at my compass. You can see that they're far away. They're not in any of these major portions of the facility. So let's see if we can go find them. Let's go on up. And here we are. This is outside of the settlement, so you can't actually build in this area. If you complete the quest, you know what this is for. By the way, you know these robo-brains that are typing away? You can actually kill them. You can destroy each and every one of them. But funny thing is, this tapping and clacking noise in the background, it never goes away. So even if you kill all of these robo-brains, the typing noise still exists. So say hello to Isabel. Bye there, Isabel. Let's go through the rest of this. So if you've completed the quest, you know that there's a little button here that opens a secret chamber back here, and it just has a nice chest in it. Here's Isabel's sleeping quarters. Looks like there's a logistics iBot stuck over there. And then if you come back around here, all of your workbenches are easy to use. You've got a robot workbench and then all of these nice stations that are connected with your workshop. But the reason I'm coming back here is because there's an elevator that can quickly take you outside. Oh, and it looks like my provisioners are using it. What? What? I didn't know they used the elevator. All right.
Going up. Security screening room.
Okay, so you can see we're getting closer to the enemy spawn points, but we're not quite there yet. Let's keep going until we find them. And look at this. And the first spawn point is right here. Right outside the back door to the Robco Sales and Service Center. That's strange to me. Like, what is it doing right there? Do raiders spawn here and then go through the door? Let me show you the other one. It's real close by. It's just up here around the corner, really close to the Boston Airport, right here on this road. So you've got two enemy spawn points for the Mechanist's Lair. They're both outside the zone that the Mechanist's Lair is in. Like, for enemies to get to the Mechanist's Lair, they have to wind through the entire facility just to get there. Now, a couple of solutions here. Like, first of all, I have never seen a single enemy attack me at the Mechanist's Lair. I have never been attacked. Now, either that's because they just don't spawn, and Bethesda programmed these spawn points in here, and that but just decided to never associate them with an attack on the Mechanist's Lair. That's option number one. Or option number two is that I have so many robot provisioners coming in and out of the Mechanist's Lair that they just kill all of the raiders and take care of them for me before I ever see them. That's option number three, or number two. But the problem with that is that, you know, I get messages from all of my other settlements when they get attacked, and I have never gotten a message asking me to come defend the Mechanist's Lair. So I'm at a bit of a loss, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand how that works. I've never been attacked, and yet there are attack spawn points programmed into the game by Bethesda. So I'll just leave that with you. If you have been attacked at the Mechanist's Lair, please let me know. I'm genuinely curious as to what the deal is with all of that. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's my Mechanist's Lair. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I see it as the storeroom for the Minutemen. This is where the Minutemen and all connected settlements store all of their equipment and all of their gear, all of their food and water and Brahmin milk and resources before they are sorted and divided off to be sent to all of the other settlements. So I put this conveyor belt contraption together, and that's what we've got. Thank you so much for watching. This was the last settlement I had to do. I have built a settlement and recorded a video for every single settlement in the game, even all of the ones that came with Far Harbor. I'm done. But I'm not done. There's a whole lot left to do, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 2 more DLCs coming in the future. There are a ton of mods out there that I have yet to download and create content for, not to mention a revision of all of the different settlements that I've done. Like, here's my Boston Airport, and I've got ideas for what I can do to make it better. So I'm going to be revising some of these. I'm going to be doing mod overviews. I have a lot of content ahead of me. Please subscribe. Your subscriptions keep this channel alive, and thank you so much for watching.